live stream here, BCFC Fanzine TV. Obviously, we just watched Blues versus Leeds 1-1 after extra time, and then obviously Leeds went on to win 4-2 on penalties. I'm going to be honest, that was magnificent. Like it was like it's everything this team is capable of and more. Yes, we had chance after chance after chance, but like overall gameplay. I watched the Ampadu's interview on TNT after, and he literally was like, we rode our luck. They were probably the better team for the 120 minutes.
We were. I mean, no arguments there. I mean, I love your magnificent and outstanding and A pluses that everybody gets. Listen, they were good.
Not everyone.
But they were good to the levels that they are capable of performing at without it being an over performance. There's levels that they showed in that game that we should be seeing week in and week out, and not for 90 minutes, but there's just so many things. I mean, the ability to do things quicker that we did, the ability to move the ball quicker, to get the ball into areas that are damaging, to actually make defenders defend and cause chaos in penalty areas is something that we haven't done.
We just looked good.
Yeah. Anything that you say about it can be a bit nippy. There's so many good things that I personally enjoy. I mean, for me, listen, I might have a reputation as a bit of a moaner. That's the first game that I genuinely sat and enjoyed. I know it was a cup game and you can do everything else, but it's the type of football that a lot of us want to see. You know, it still has that element of control, still has that element of patience, but patience doesn't necessarily mean slow. We've got players going on the outside and getting balls into the box. I'm going to single out Priska later because if you look at every single highlight that in every highlight up until he went off, he was in goal scoring positions the whole time, and we just haven't had that.
I just want to point out, right? These are my notes from the first. I know this is a very pretty notebook, but like these are my notes from the game. Right, there's 2 pages there. And the first thing I want to pick out from there is actually pre-game, Davis talked about finding a way to get through Leeds' press. And he got his tactics today spot on. Leeds weren't able to do anything. Their goal, okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But honestly, and what a difference Allsop makes. Some of that passes were like prime Pirlo. And I know I've used that on the Warwick OSC group before, but honestly, it just made a massive difference. When the ball went near him in the box, I wasn't pooing my pants.
Sorry, are you trying to convince me? Or
no, I don't need to convince you. But we'll look at it, and I thought to a man, most of the players were outstanding today. There was a couple of them that frustrated us, like Osman. He was getting into positions, and I think McManaman picked it up. He's quite an unorthodox player. That it's one of them. It's one of them. He had an off game, but he's had some very good games. So
I think personally that's a level of performance that should be expected 8 times out of 10.
Yeah,
and I don't think I'm asking for too much because we have the players and they've proven that they can play in a certain way.
We got off to a good start, and it continued, and that's what really for me stood out today. We got off to a really good start. I've written here absolutely class first 20, because I was expecting it to peter out a little bit, because that's been a formula that's happened in some games, but not all. Panzo brought balance. It looked like Panzo and Clara have been playing centre half together for years. Like it was just, honestly, and Christoph Clara's getting an entire segment put together, and Wagner as well. Wagner, I've said his name wrong now. I just think, honestly,
I will say though, that in extra time, I thought we looked equally fine at centre half. I mean, other than the last 2 minutes or so, they were just tired mistakes, really. They were
Yeah.
like.
But it happens, you know. If
I thought we were equally fine at centre back with Neumann coming on as well. But Panzer, I mean, obviously knowing nothing about him, I thought it was very good on the ball, moved the ball nice and quick, which is what you want from your centre halves as well. I will say as well as about. There was a lot of time. I mean, we didn't have a great deal of defending to do for most of the periods of time. But that's not saying that he hasn't had to do anything. I'm not saying that at all. What he did very very well. So it gives you a lot of confidence that if he does come into the team, then if that's the level of performance that we're going to expect from it, then we've got to be happy.
Yeah, and there were moments of the game. We talked about the penalties, and there's been a few comments that I've seen sort of online about Roberts' penalty, but he hit it over the bar. Look, it happens, right? It does happen in football. I remember Jaap Stam sent one into like orbit many years ago. I think it was at Euro 2000 or maybe even 2002 World Cup. Look, this sort of thing happened. I thought Tommy Doyle was exceptional, and he missed his penalty. And you know what? I literally put on the Warwick group, I feel for him because he's been quality today, and I genuinely mean that. Solis was a rock. Obviously, I think that just the amount. I don't think he's injured. I think he was suffering from cramp, and that's just the way it is. I actually thought Leeds were atrocious, but having said that, I mean, I wrote down here. I think it was one of their centre halves. Yeah, Goodmanson is the only player of Leeds in the first half player that was worth noting, and that says everything about our play. Is the fact that
him and Vicente had a good old battle down that left hand. Well, our right, their left.
I mean, there's so many positives from this game. It makes me feel. I mean, I was disappointed. I had to go and take the dog for a walk before we went live because I was sat there and I was like, it's an opportunity missed.
I say I think this will do wonders. But I mean, at any point now, I don't think it really mattered if we went through or not because it's done wonders because it's produced a performance that so many of us have been going. It's in there, in there, and this isn't a lower league team playing 2 levels above what they would normally play. This isn't Mansfield going to Burnley. This is a squad of players that have been assembled to get promoted to the Premier League to compete with teams like Leeds. Yeah. That is what this squad. Well, I mean, obviously, it might change a little bit, but that's the core of this squad. Is that what they've been brought in to do? So they needed to stand toe to toe with the team. And you're right, they have. I mean, two. If I'm going to outline 2 massive positives for me, I mean, this is me. This is also me just sort of patting myself on the back a little bit, and almost a bit like I told you so. Right? Listen, Allsop you've mentioned. I'm sorry, nothing will ever convince me that Beadle is better for the team than Allsop. Right, nothing, and this just proves it. Right. Secondly, it proves to all the people that continually say that Paik is the influence and the glue that we can play to a level higher without him in the team. And I'm not saying he doesn't get back in the team. I'm saying that we can. So I think that thing that's been thrown about there, saying we're not the same team without him. He's the glue. He's not. We have players of equal standard, and them 2 in the middle of the park prove that they can both do what he does and better, in my opinion.
It's made me fall in love with the FA Cup as well.
Well, we had it last season, but
that's the thing. Like, I'm looking at the result from last season when we played Newcastle. That galvanised us. It made us believe as a team that we were the superior. Yes, we were the superior team in League One, and that was without a shadow of a doubt. But after that game, our results went really, really well. Really well. There were a couple of anomalies, obviously, but I think if we use this as a point, they brought on Calvert-Lewin, who did look sharp. He looked sharp when he came on. However, Christoph Clara made him look like he was. If that's England's number 9 selection, Christoph Clara can't even get into the Austria team. So,
I had no idea that Calvert-Lewin was even in the frame for an England call up until they started singing it. I was like, "What are you taking?"
No, I just think personally, I'm going to spend just a little time now just talking about Christoph Clara, because that man has had a baby this week. Well, he hasn't personally; his wife has, but they've had a baby, so he's probably running on 2 hours sleep a night. He's turned up today, and he has shown not just us, because we know what Clara is all about. We know that he's quality, but he has shown the rest of basically anyone who watched that game today, who was a neutral fan or a Leeds fan, have gone, "Oh, he is unbelievable." He is and genuinely, and I've said this all year, if there's a player that has been consistently a 7 out of 10 every single game, today he was 10 out of 10, is Christoph Clara.
9.8.
Yeah, because you're going to say about the goal, aren't you?
I am, and the reason he never got my man of the match or a 10, because you are right. But for their goal, he did something that was very uncharacteristic for him, and he slid in on a tackle when he was sending the player down the line. So unlike him, it's something. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a blatant mistake, but it's something you wouldn't expect him to do, because he doesn't do that. And obviously, the lad's then cut inside as he's missed the tackle.
Yeah,
and obviously he smashed it in the back of the net. But I mean, again, but that's the fine lines between 10s and 9.8s, isn't it? That's the whole point. A 10 is flawless, and that was the one glitch in his performance to that.
But it shows about the fine margins in football, doesn't it?
Listen, don't get me wrong. If that's the only thing that we can pick out of a performance, then
yeah. I mean, we hit the post in the last minute. Kanye was blocked. I mean,
I mean, there's another one. We got to see Kanye for 45 minutes of a football match. That's really amazing.
Put on the Warwick group. Can Kanye play any more than 10 minutes? Is this allowed in Davis ball? This is. But honestly, to a man today, there were a couple of players where you could go, but like Kai Wagner has come in and he has been exceptional. Every game, he's a consistent left back. Today, he was unbelievable. August Priska, he looks like he's brilliant. What showed today was when Allsop was putting the ball over the top, Priska was able to get to it, get on the ball. Vicente did the same. Roberts did the same. Damari Gray did the same. Stano was unbelievable. He was, let's be honest, he was absolutely out on his feet.
Well, you know my criticisms of Stansfield. I don't think he affects the game enough with the ball. Fine, you can't argue with what he does off the ball, but for a large part of today, he was a lot more effective with the ball, and I think that was because of Priska, because Priska will do the yards that Stano does as well, which takes a lot of pressure off him. And you could almost say he was trying to think about his position a lot more. But Priska, I'm so impressed with it. I think he's going to score a ton of goals for us.
I do as well. I think personally, when we look at it, the only thing that you could probably say is that I talked about this on the pre-show. We'll call it the pre-show, not like the preview. Was the bench, and I think it showed because Solis had run himself into the ground and was no one there to come on who was a like for like player. Beteka, is a young lad. He made a mistake. Is what it is. He's a young lad. He's learning his craft. That's absolutely fine. I have no complaints about today. What we need to do now is produce that against Norwich and Middlesbrough, because we are hard to live with when we are playing football like that. For 120 minutes today, we have played a Premier League team who are doing quite well, actually. I know that they were only promoted last season. They're doing quite well, and we made them look ordinary. And that is the capability of this team. And signings didn't look at, Carlos Vicente went for a little bit of a dive at some point.
Hopefully they'll get that out of him, because
and then a little bit of a Solace with a silly yellow card. But honestly, it just looked like what we've been expecting from this team today, and I am absolutely delighted
Well,
in the way that we played.
on top of that, mate, there's been a few games recently, especially home games, where it has been a bit flat in the crowd. I mean, you were at one of them just a week ago. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a shame that this cup game never come before the Albion game,
Yeah,
because it would have been a totally different atmosphere. Everything about it would have been a totally different scenario going into it. But obviously, they're done and dusted now. You can't do anything about it. But the difference in how the crowd reacts if they're getting what they know that the players are capable makes such a massive difference, and you could just tell that as well, that everyone was just willing to pass that ball just 10% quicker, run 10% harder for a tackle, all them sort of things that should be there all the time, really. Yeah,
it brings out an immense pride. I'm sorry if I keep looking around, but outside my like house at the minute, it appears to have gone completely dark. Like there's
well, that's why I looked as well. It's really
it's like a total eclipse.
yeah.
It's just honestly today I cannot give them enough credit. So there's ways of going out of a cup, right? There's ways of going out of a cup, and for the last 2 years in the fourth round, we have gone out going, what a team we actually are.
I'd say to anyone that's genuinely upset about this that don't be. I mean, there's
I was devastated about the loss, but
anybody that watched the video that we put out on Friday night with the penalty shootout against Liverpool.
I feel like you cursed us there, mate.
Then I mean, think back. I mean, if you are too young, ask your mum and dads about losing to Watford on penalties, or losing to Preston North End on penalties, or losing to Liverpool in the cup final. So but when these ones comes around now, it's so easy to take them on the chin now and just go, well, do you know what? It really, 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 on the scale of things today, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Honestly, mate, I think we can just leave it there. We were so good today. We are going to go on to a podcast, and obviously, just one more thing before we do go. Get well soon, Tom Wagner. We talked about this before. The 13th minute, the little thing on the badge. Also, can we just say, next season, can we have the penguin? Because today it looked unbelievable.
But the one thing I'll say about the penguin is I don't like white shorts and white socks, but anyway, too much white. Anyway, what I loved about it is, and I didn't even notice it until McManaman said it. He said, "I love it. There's no names on the back of the shirts or anything."
No names.
Like, oh, right, no sponsors or anything.
The sponsor was there, the usual sponsor that goes at the bottom, but it was in blue, so you couldn't see it.
But I didn't even notice the no names things until he said. I don't know why. It was just one of them things that you was just, I mean, it looked great. It looked great. But blue socks, please. Can't have white.
So next season, please take heed. We want the penguin, and if you're going to go with the full hog, let's use the German away kit as well while we're there. That's a controversial statement, I feel. But other than that, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. Give us a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. I've been Andrew Clark, and this is Chris Edge. We'll see you soon.
Very soon.